Kinderdijk, Holland by Shiny Visions. It's our final tour. The windmills of Kinderdijk, Holland. They are lovely and look exactly like the many pictures of Holland scenes I've admired throughout my lifetime. The windmills at Kinderdijk are a group of 19 massive, well-preserved wind machines. It is the largest concentration of old windmills in the Netherlands. The mills are listed as national monuments, and the entire area is a protected village view. This region was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997. Its man-made landscape is a powerful demonstration of human ingenuity and perseverance. For almost 1,000 years, the Dutch have made water-saturated land usable by harnessing the power of the wind. A whopping 26% of Holland is actually under sea level, with the lowest point being 22 feet below. Holland used to be mostly wetlands, swamps, and marshes with embankments of dunes that helped block the powerful ocean tides. Nevertheless, settlements were often destroyed by unrelenting waters. Then around 1400 AD, windmills were built to drain these wetlands. The construction of these windmills, as well as dams, held back the sea sufficiently to improve living conditions. In the 16th century, innovative changes were made to the design of the windmill, enabling them to serve industrial purposes as well, such as to generate power for oil and paper production, grinding grain, and sawing timber. At one time, there were around 10,000 windmills in the Netherlands, but because of modernization and improvements in technology, they were replaced by more reliable and powerful methods that didn't depend on the inconsistent energy of the wind for operation. Today, there are only 1,000 windmills remaining. For the village of Kinderdijk, windmills were used for water management. In addition to its low land elevation, this quaint town also had to deal with the flooding from two nearby rivers. Residents built a series of earthworks in the 13th century that diverted water from their homes and farms. However, the type of soil in Kinderdijk is not conducive to this method of water management. The use of dikes, sluices, and canals, however, did adequately protect the region for generations, but by the 18th century, improvements were needed. Windmills were constructed near Kinderdijk around 1740. A network of 19 windmills were built in order to adequately remove water from the region. These huge, wind-powered machines were specifically designed to drain wetlands. They utilized mechanical wheels or hydraulic Archimedean screws that moved water quickly and efficiently, thus making an impressive and expansive water transfer system. The mills moved water from lower parts of Kinderdijk into a higher basin that flowed into a nearby river. In the mid-19th century, 2 steam-powered pumping stations were added to the network to provide additional water removal capability. Then in 1924, diesel-powered engine pumps replaced these early stations, which significantly improved Kinderdijk's water transfer system. In the late 1900s, Kinderdijk switched to electric power, but its windmills were still kept functional. Today, they can still be used as backups in emergency situations, such as massive power outages. And not only are these centuries-old windmills still in working order, but 16 of the 19 are even inhabited. The families who live in them are required to maintain the windmills. The blades must be allowed to turn a required number of times each year in order to keep the equipment working and lubricated. Our guide told us that back in the day, being a miller was a dangerous profession. As we watched the blades turn swiftly while the wind gusted, I sensed the power of these wind machines, and if their energy wasn't properly harnessed, how dangerous it could be. Also, because blades cleared the ground by only 30 centimeters, children are taught at a very early age to stay away from them. 2 of the windmills have been converted into museums. We visited one with its interior preserved from the 1950s when the last inhabitant left. On display was the original living room, complete with 1950s style furniture. Off this room was an alcove or closet bed. At nights, the doors of this small area could be closed to retain heat. We climbed up 3 floors to view the surrounding landscape and the grease attic that houses most of the mechanisms of the windmill. We also saw the smoke attic, where walls were black from smoking fish. Just like windmills and tulips, wooden shoes are commonly associated with the Netherlands. Though wooden shoes have been worn throughout the ages in Europe, Holland made them famous. Crafted from a single piece of wood, they were practical and affordable. Naturally water-resistant, they protected feet from the wet Dutch climate and enabled their wearer to move across soggy ground easily. The clog's sturdiness helped prevent injury, and they continued to be worn by farm workers well into the 1900s. Today, in rural areas of Holland, wooden shoes are still commonly used when farming and gardening. Well, this concludes our last tour on our Viking Grand European cruise. We return to our ship, only a short walk from the windmills. That evening was a bittersweet time. It was our last dinner on the Viking Jefjan. This 15-day journey was drawing to a close. During this adventure, we learned so much about Europe, its people, culture, and food, while visiting 13 cities in 4 countries. We had been treated like royalty on this trip and feasted on magnificent food. We said goodbye to our servers, who were always smiling and efficient. Then there were the 178 guests on the ship, many of whom we spoke and ate with daily. During this trip together, we learned about each other's lives and families. There were guests that resided in distant locations, like Tasmania, England, and Australia. We met a Holocaust survivor whose family came to visit her during our stops in Germany. We knew it would be hard to leave this dream world we so enjoyed and return to real life. We were going to miss everything about this cruise. Thank you so much for accompanying us throughout this Viking Grand European tour. It has been wonderful to relive this adventure in order to share it with you. Stay tuned for one more video about this trip, and that is lessons learned from our first Viking cruise. We look forward to sharing another adventure with you soon. Thank you for watching. This is Shiny Visions.